Hello, YouTube. Welcome to the Mrs. Best Reviews channel. I'm Mrs. Best, and we have James from the Watch Your Mouth Reviews channel.
Hey.
We are going to go over the foolery that was this episode.
The foolery.
It was just foolery.
And I tell you, it was foolishness, coonery, ignorance, all kind of just bull y'all. I can't with this show. I'm here for Mrs. Best. I promise you I am. But that episode I watched, yeah.
Yeah, it didn't make. There's a lot that came up, but then there's also a lot that didn't happen. This episode was titled "Don't Call Me Sweetie." We're quoting Evelyn's old messy self. So we start the episode with a little bit of Brandy, but not too much. I'm gonna start with Jen and the boy. The boy being Christian. I call her the boy because she is old enough to be his grandmother in my mind. So I'm gonna refer to him as the boy, and I don't trust him. And if I don't trust you, I don't respect you. So I'm gonna acknowledge your name. They're doing a YouTube live, like we're doing right now. Speaking of lives, like the video, we appreciate you. But they're doing a YouTube live together. Now, James has been talking about this YouTube thing that they're doing together since we met Christian on this show as Jen's, partner or whatever. James has been looking at him like he's driving Jennifer's Rolls Royce. He's doing all these things with her money, getting on her YouTube, taking advantage of her fan base. To some extent, you expect that for if your spouse is, prevalent or something, find a way to make an income off of it. But they didn't know each other for that long. They still don't really know each other and not for that long. So it's very strange that he is milking every single piece of what comes with what she got as much as possible. Now, here's what annoyed me. These fools discuss deal breakers, and that is the topic of their YouTube live. I get that couples like to go on YouTube and I get, participate, do things together, which I get. I do music reviews and stuff with my husband, so I get that. But I'm not going on YouTube with my husband on a live to talk about deal breakers and what works in our relationship. And I feel like certain things, that's why people break up so much, should be private. Like the world should not know much outside of the fact that you travel, you might go out to eat here and there, and you still together. That's about, in my opinion, all that people need to know. But I didn't like the deal breakers that they had. Jen's made sense. She don't want nobody who's cheating. She don't want nobody who's broke, but she did clarify, she just wants you to be making money. She said, she's like, if you do Uber Eats or Postmates, I'm okay with that, but you need to do something. So I get that. And he cuts in, and before we get into it, his deal breakers was feet and teeth. Shallow BS, once again, that keeps us from getting to know this person and to any capacity. But he cuts her off when she says that she couldn't do a broke man, but mentions being okay with Uber Eats, just as long as they have a job, which I respect it, and I'm not surprised from Jen, though. I'm going to say this. If you're worth over $1 million, I raise your standards, Jen. That's all I'm saying. It's okay to work a regular job, but raise your standards just a bit. But he interrupts, and it was just awkward that he interrupted the way she defended him. But you have a company. It was almost like he was manipulating and the conversation to go in a direction that forced her to acknowledge, you have a company. You do this. He's good at trading, which I'm not surprised. He's making good money in trading. People make very good money doing that. But he is correct. That is not a job. Some people can treat it like that, but I don't fully consider it a job. How did you feel about that?
It's not a job. I'm just going to put that out there. Hi, Shayna. It's not a job. My ex-fiance did the same exact job. Same thing. He didn't call it a job. He called it a service that he did. Now, what made it a company for him is that he housed stock traders in Chicago and opened up a firm where they had to pay him desk rent. Now, the gratitude of them paying death screens that they had certain access to certain materials that's not so much public, but when you have a company LLC, you're granted certain software materials to see these things. So that way trading becomes more effective for you. So he's absolutely right. It's not a job. However, depending on how you operate it, I read his little company policies and everything. I don't recall in the 11 months I was with that man, I do not recall the company policy being that his. And I would read it for y'all, but I don't feel like going to that. I would, but anyone who does trade or does go under his thumb, you might want to watch your back. Just all I'm going to say, because I've never heard his practice being like that. Now, as far as their standards, the back and forth conversation about deal breakers. I find it funny that feet and teeth was his, but breath wasn't the number one requirement in that. And we all know Jennifer history and what people say about her breath. So
Stop it.
I guess that must not be a factor in that, sir. That's stupid. Jennifer, I need you to have more structure. After you then been in that situation with Tim Norman in his hips and the dude that stole your Range Rover, I would think that you would do extensive work to make sure that whoever you ended up with next had a grand portfolio. What happened to the dude last season with all, or a couple seasons ago with the spacing in between his teeth and the nosy ass mama? Whatever happened with that? Why did that not work? Because I honestly would have preferred you went out with him versus this fool here. But you're gonna do what you want to do, and oh, it's gonna bite you in your ass. I can't. I'm gonna be like, you know what, Jen, you did it to yourself. That's all I had to say.
They need to focus, especially because of the age gap and just the fact that, yes, it can work if people have a huge age gap in relationships. People do it all the time. But I feel like in their case, counseling would be extremely helpful. They seem so concerned, even in how they're planning their wedding, with like how everybody else feels. But we will get into that a
That's
little.
why. That's why I'm reversed. That's why I'm reserving my opinion till the next scene with them too.
Yeah, because we got a couple scenes with them, and to me, none of them were favorable, flattering, anything that is positive. And it's like, I want for Jen to win with love because I do love Jennifer Williams, but at the same time, I want her to also take her time. Like, you'll rush into relationships your whole doggone life and they end up like Jen. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I'm just like, this whole dynamic of their relationship is weird. But moving on, y'all, Jac'eil, Evelyn, Brooke, and Jennifer all meet up and they end up discussing Cheyenne, who is Jackie's friend, who we saw a couple episodes ago, that she brought to try and mediate what now looks like it will not mediate. But I can't remember who was it. I'm doing this off the top of my head. One of the ladies, I believe it was Jac'eil, brings up the fact, like, it's real weird that as we're all talking about Jackie and how much we don't like her, Cheyenne, one, I thought it was weird she was willing to come there, but Jac'eil brings up the fact that it's just very strange as a whole that when they're discussing like, oh, she's a hoe, and pulling up, paperwork on Jackie and like passing it around the table, which is humiliating and really not okay, in my opinion. That girl was just like, nope, I don't want to look at it. Not, no, maybe you guys shouldn't be doing this. I understand you don't like her, but this is not okay. This is making me uncomfortable. I don't want to look at it. If somebody starts pulling up my friend's police record on camera at a table, talking about how she's evil, has no heart, just saying vile things about people, like genuinely assassinating her character, I'm not going to sit there and be quiet. So I did feel like Jac'eil had a point. How did you feel about that?
She definitely had a point, and I agree with her. I think that it is prevalent. If I knew, just we're going to use that same example. If I knew firsthand that you had some documentation and you passing it around to everybody, and I'm your friend and you're not there, I'm going to get up and I'm going to leave. And then I'm going to call you from the car and tell you exactly what happened at this dinner and prepare you for. So the fact that she sat there and endured all of it. Now she may very much well go back and tell Jackie, we're not saying that to see what it was, but I wouldn't even need to see that. The fact that the action was done was enough for me to be like, okay, I gotta bounce. Because I'm not gonna call you a friend watch someone, slander your character, regardless if it was true or untrue. That should happen 30 fucking years ago. I'm not going to sit there for it. I'm just not. That's just me. I know how to get up and
They
walk
wouldn't
away.
have even got that far. That's realistic. I mean, we know a piece of it. They're on a show, so they could be doing too much.
Right.
I wouldn't have even showed up, because what the hell do y'all want to get to know me for when you don't like the person
friend
I know?
yeah,
That
the
don't
friend
make
I
no
came with.
sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know. We'll see what happens with her. The next thing these women discuss is Brandy inviting Jac'eil to her cooking class that we saw in the last episode. I don't know. I'm kind of annoyed with Brooke a little bit. Here's the thing: it's for me, it's a tricky place to be, because I know she's in so much pain from losing her child, and that's not. It's probably not going to go away. She's just going to have to learn how to live with it to some extent and get some coping skills. And condolences again to her and her family for that. However, I think she came back on this show too soon. I feel like she should have taken a break, because it's just a sensitive topic. No matter what happens, the issue with Jac'eil is going to remind her of her daughter, and Jac'eil did cross that boundary. She didn't need to be the way she was, but that's just what it was. Brooke says and likes to make it seem like I cannot mess with somebody and just be done with them and not hate them, but then you can't seem to be in the same room with Jac'eil. Now you don't want your friends to even acknowledge or talk to her, even though you know that they're doing the show with her, and that's how you know these women. I think it's a stretch for Brandy to make, or for Brooke to say that Brandy has not been a good friend, when Brooke herself is acknowledging in the confessional when discussing this matter, like, Brandy is the only one in this cast who called her every day. Brandy is the person who checked on her, who she hangs out with outside of this. When she doesn't see her, she's on the phone. Brandy supported her through her divorce, her marriage, all these different things, right? So because she doesn't support you in this one thing where she's actually filming and obligated to film with this person, now suddenly you're going to talk about her to women who you know have had issues with her and are talking crap, as if she's not a good friend. So I was just annoyed with that, because even if I'm mad at my friend, I'm not going to go and discuss them publicly with a bunch of people looking for a problem. Personally. James, how did you feel about that second part of that combo?
I agree with you. I feel like Brooke should have taken a break from this season, because 9 out of 10, Jacqueil's coming back to the show. You know she is. You know these producers love her and they're going to keep her because she's kooky and she's good for television. So you should have automatically had in your mind that she's going to be here, so you can do one of two things. You can either grin and bear it and be cordial and speak because you know you're going to have to be around her, or you should have taken a break. But this is ridiculous. Like, I don't want to tell her to get over it, because I know that that is insensitive. And I know that she is hurting over the grief of her daughter. I can completely understand, as I'm in grief myself today. But at the same time, it is a job situation. Like, I had to go back to a job that didn't handle my father's passing in the right way when it came to me and my feelings. But I still have to go there, smile in front of those people, and do my job because I need to live. And it's the same thing with Brooke. You're doing this job because it's a paycheck and free exposure. So sometimes you have to grin it and bear it. I don't want to tell you that. But at the same time, reality is reality. This shit you're doing with Jac'eil doesn't make sense. And I'm just being real. I'm not trying to take up for Jac'eil, because Jac'eil was dead ass wrong. But at the same time, it does make the show even more of a like a
It's
stab to the
stagnant.
chest.
We're
Yes.
stuck. Every
Yeah.
episode, we've been discussing the exact same thing. They can't progress to have a new problem. They can't progress to get rid of the problem. Everything is just sitting here.
Right.
So that's primarily my reason for feeling like she needs to leave the show. I want her to be able to heal so she can come back to the show. I don't want her to be gone forever, but she's definitely not in a space where she can even deal with drama. I think even if it did not have to do with her daughter, I feel like she's just in the space where she'd either take it too far or not do enough. So
I agree.
yeah. We listen, y'all. Shout out to the replay gang, by the way. I appreciate you guys for watching. The last video got quite a few views. I'm eternally grateful for all of you great humans on these YouTube streets. It means the world. But we see Brandy Maxiel and the Jasons take her family to do, it looks like shot of paint. It looks cool. I don't know. For me, I always think about like, I don't like to be dirty after like leaving activities. Like I'd be annoyed that I got to rinse off when leaving the beach. So
All
I don't
right,
know.
me too. I'm like one of those people. Like when I tell y'all, I be looking for them showers, and then I was crazy because I was in Florida. I had my own 409 spray because I was not playing with these people out here in Florida. Sprayed that shower down and then rinsed that water out. That lady laughed at me, but I rinsed my feet off, made sure it was squeaky clean. Then it got me a rag and got in between my toes. I am the same way.
I hate it. I hate it. Y'all, they do the shot of paint. It did look fun though, just not for me. And this is where she talked about how her and Jason are in such a great place and all these things. And I actually missed this. I did not realize that she went and spoke with Iyanla, and it was exposed that her husband slept with 341 women. Listen.
At that time.
Listen, this was at that time. Here's the thing. She says they went to counseling, and then that, they were trying to do that. They were trying to make the marriage work. Then she says that we learned that her son got really sick and was fighting for his life. And when that happened, she says that made them stronger. Listen, I'm going to keep it real with y'all. It sounds like she stayed with him because it's familiar. He played international basketball. He did not deal with NBA like the rest of these husbands, if anybody remembers from when he joined the show. And international pays more. It just does. So he in different countries, okay? The women who have domestic basketball players for husbands is dealing with cheating. This man is traveling all over the world. She cannot be with him, and she had a small child. 341 women, though. I don't know. Maybe it's
I'm sorry.
My profession wants me to say he definitely has a sex addiction or something going on and needs to attend counseling.
I mean, it's one of two things, and I know not the world. Everybody ain't finna agree with me on this one. Is one of two things. He either has the sex addiction, or he's running from homosexuality. It's one of the two, because that is a crazy ass number. Like 304. Y'all have to understand. They've only been married at the time Iyanla show came out. That was maybe 7 or 8 years. They've been married 14 now. So you have to think in 7 or 8 years, 341 women. That is a lot. That means that you were basically cheating. If you were to do it in just 1 year, you were basically cheating on her every single day. And to me, throw the marriage away after that, because you're not gonna get on national TV, humiliate me. I didn't even know it was that many, because she didn't know on that episode that it was that many women. She thought it was at least 50, which was crazy for even me, because I'm like, damn, that's still a lot of women.
That's a lot of bodies to be sharing. Listen, I'm not judging anybody. Nobody asked to be cheated on, but I think that's just too many. Like, to me,
I think it says a lot about herself.
I feel like some people, especially being in psychology, some people will cheat there's different reasons. Yes, but I don't, when it gets to that many people, that says something not just about the person who's cheating, but also about the person who's being cheated on. It's
because I could see in that profession, if it was 1 or 2 times, then Mike don't get no ideas. I said I didn't. We're not talking about us. We talking about Brandy Maxiel and Jason over there. I could see if it was 1 or 2 times, then maybe I could. I may can overlook it. I may can get past it if
like
you never do it again. If you never do it again. Yeah, if you never do it again.
Normal for people. That's not normal to cheat, but I'm saying if someone's cheated on 1 or 2 times, I feel like from what I've seen, just from unfortunately, I got a lot of friends who keep picking men that cheat. Maybe they could work through that, but then I think once it gets past that, it's like somebody either is not happy, needs therapy, is missing something, or not with the right person simply.
No, you definitely need to go to therapy for that. Absolutely. Therapy. And see, and I'm the type of person, when I forgive you, I do move on. I don't hold it anymore. So whatever you did to me, and if I chose to forgive you, that means I think you're big enough beyond the mistake. So if I forgive you, I never bring up what you did to me, not even when I'm mad. So I kind of feel like she has to be the strongest, either the strongest person, or she feel like she can't get nobody else. There's one of the two, because that, yeah.
I think it's also a case of, especially with how her family is, being from the South, I feel like it's also the case of I have a baby with him, so I'm gonna make it work also. And I also feel like another piece of it that's probably motivating it is income. But regardless of everything in the world, to cheat that many times, it does happen. Unfortunately, that is something that is common, and it gets more common, it seems, with the more income that is involved. But I don't like that. It's concerning. They tried to like throw it in there and move on real fast, but I was like, nah, y'all, that's crazy. That's absolutely insane. But they could tell themselves they happy and hit paint and all they need to do. And he not even that cute to be forgiven that many
That's what
times.
I'm saying.
That
Like,
stresses me
you
out.
know, and I'm gonna give it real with y'all. Jason is semi my type, but at the end of the day, no, you're not that cute to be doing that many times. No, absolutely not.
No, that was too much. That
That's
was
too
too
much.
much.
Like, and I'm telling you, any more than 2 times, then we have a serious problem here. Because as I said, the first time I'm making overlook without no problem. Second time we definitely in therapy. After that, you do it again, I'm done. That's just how
They
I'm gonna look at
definitely have some sort of a trauma bond, though. I did get that energy from Brandy and Jason. And I mean, I feel like they probably, there's definitely a trauma bond, but
that's dangerous too. When you think
yeah.
of trauma bonds, yeah, that's dangerous. Okay,
But
I'm done with that.
we did see Jac'eil meet with something called the Queer Aunties Group. She says she wants to find some more friends in the LGBTQ community, and we learned a little bit about her and coming out. None of it surprised me, especially the fact that she's from Mississippi. But it looks like they're going to be doing something to give back to the community, which I'm looking forward to see, and we will come back to that as we get through the episode. I will say before I move on, though, I like Jac'eil. She's really, really sweet. I don't really care to see her storylines individually. I don't know what it is. She's doing a lot of good on the show. We've seen her do a lot of good, and I know that she's going to have many blessings come to her, but I don't know, she kind of bores me on the show. But that's just a random little side note.
I think because here's the thing, because I thought about that too. It's funny you bring that up. I thought about that too. I think because her depiction is so different than what we're used to seeing on this show that we almost have, we almost want to protect her because she doesn't fit. She doesn't fit at all. Her dynamic is different from all these other ladies. She's actually with a current playing basketball player, so that even makes her even more of a grandpa. I think honestly, if I'm being real with y'all, I think Shawnee next season should fire all of them and keep her and bring in a whole slew of other basketball lines.
It would be much better, and it might be one of the few things that could actually save the show. But Jen and the boy go on a double date with Brandy and Jason. They play pickleball, not because they like it, but because everybody else is doing it, and that's what these people do. But you know what was funny about this scene? I'm not even going to go into it too much. Both of these couples had the audacity to be judging each other as if they both was not in some effed up, concerning, red flag, high alert type relationships. Okay?
I agree.
Listen, Brandy and Jason, 341 women done been in their relationship. And I have a feeling that she's the type of female that would be cool with a threesome too, so I'm sure that there's others. Then you got Jen and this boy who don't know each other from a damn can of paint. Got an age gap, worried about what everybody else think. I personally don't think they should be getting married, but neither of these people can talk about the other.
I was gonna say neither one of them. As much as he was hugging up on Jason, Jennifer, you might want to keep your eye out, because I'm questioning the prison days now after seeing all that, because he didn't even hug Brandy.
I want to know if he was gay for the stay. It's a thing in there.
I'm just saying the way he just shook Brandy's hand, but made sure he gave that dude a hug. I was like,
weird.
Wait a minute. Back that up. Because I saw that. I saw that. I'm not going to put too much context on it, but I saw that. And I agree. None of y'all can talk about nobody because at the end of the day, when Brandy said the best thing that she said, he said, well, what's the secret? She said, I don't know no secret. And I said, that's the best answer you could have gave because anything else that would have came out your mouth would have been a damn, catastrophe. Just shut it up and say, yeah, ain't no secret. You just do day by day.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say though, like, as somebody married, whenever people hear that you've been married for longer than 5 years, it gets annoying. I've been married 12 years next month, and I get that a lot, especially from coworkers. Oh my God. What's the secret? There ain't no secret. We just like each other. Shit, I don't know. If it work, it work. If it don't,
you know what? My secret is my secret is I love him too much not to kill him when he get on my nerves. And the things that he don't like about me is fine with him. That's how that works. So y'all get yes, that's how that works.
That's the problem. Everybody asking the secret. There is no secret.
There is no secret. There is no secret.
The secret is within you. When you worry less about how others perceive what you are doing with your love life, you'll probably find love a lot.
Absolutely. See, the problem is, and what I've had to learn and what I've had to gravitate to is I have to accept who I'm with how they love. I can't change. See, a lot of you, especially women, men don't really do this too much, but women like to change how a man loves them. And you can't do that. He has to love you the way he knows how to love you. And then you have to choose whether or not that works for you. And that's what the dating stages is for. And the fiance stage is to double check. So if y'all don't hear nothing else from us, listen to us here. The dating stages is to see how he loves, look at the attributes. If that's something you can participate with for the rest of your life or through a long duration of your life, then fine. That's what you choose. But don't sit up there and try to change him to make him love you a certain kind of way, because then that's when problems come and then you divorce because he can't love you any other way than the way he knows how to. That's how I'm saying.
But y'all, them couples annoy me, but they played ball. They did what they did. But I was just like, I don't need to really see this. We did see Brooke and Evelyn meet up, and they discussed Brooke's son. Not much came out of the conversation, except we did learn that Brooke's son, the youngest one that has the baby, he does have mental health issues. I work at a mental health recovery center, so I do be a little annoyed when I understand talking about your struggles and strife, but once your kid is 18 plus, girl, you have his consent to be talking about his mental health issues on television. You talking about your child might have a baby. I kind of feel like don't use the boy and what's going on with him as a storyline if he truly does have mental health issues. That's just how I feel. But I also appreciate her opening up and speaking about that struggle, because a lot of parents go through it and they don't. It's really sad when you see a parent that's just like confused and worried and they're leaving their kid in a facility. I used to work in a facility for adolescents and young kids having mental health crises. And the parents do go through it. So I respect her for opening up. That's what I'll say.
I'm going to say this. Because, and like I said, she has lost a child. So I understand that. And I get that this one has challenges. I understand that as well. But for some reason, and I cannot shake this feeling, and I hate that I have to say it like this because I want to feel for Brooke, I do, but I honestly feel like this is out of vein. I just have to feel that way about it because to me, my instinct is to protect the child and not mention it and go off camera and see what's going on. That's just what I'm saying, because this is too much of a detrimental situation for me to think that, okay, yeah, I get you talking to your so-called friend about a situation, but you're doing it in the public eye. Your son may not want all this attention. That's probably why he kept this from you, because you're on a public platform and maybe this isn't the space for him to want to endure that, because he knows there may be a possibility you may ask him to come on the show just like you did with your son. And also where your daughter, was living, you had her on the show. So it may be a situation where he may not want that. So I just think it was a vain reason for her to talk about it when she doesn't even have a consent from her son to talk about his challenges and also their maybe baby that we don't know about.
Yeah, let him figure that out privately. I don't really need to see about it, but I don't think she had much else to talk about, especially refusing the.
She got plenty of stuff to talk about. Talk about that man. Talk about your divorce. What happened? What you get?
She
Did you
ain't
get some
get
money?
nothing.
Did you get that? Did you get some property? Did you get some cars? What you get? Talk about that.
I don't think she got nothing but BBL she got to pay off herself. John, we're gonna move on. The Jen and the boy, they discuss a budget for their wedding. Trust and believe this scene was made for the camera. I don't know a couple alive that's going to discuss their actual budget for anything publicly. Just say you may think you've seen it. Promise you haven't. But Jen and then they discuss the budget. Here's the kicker, y'all. Remember, the boy is a criminal and spent most of the time most adults spend maturing and attaining wisdom that we don't have to, have people acknowledge constantly. He was in jail. He was locked up. He was gone. He had no freedom. He was a slave to the state. Okay, and yes, it says that when you go to jail. He had Global Tail Links, maybe Securus, a pack of ramen noodles, and some $4 Cheez-Its. That's what he had. So he don't know anything. Like, he doesn't know much. Now, and Christian, the reason I'm saying this is because I feel like he always tries to make it seem like he's just so smart and astute. And if you have to try that hard to make it seem like you that way, then you just not that way, in my opinion. But he's on parole because he went to jail. And when you go to jail, even if you're not going to prison, you are going to have restitution. It's usually more money than you have and more money than if you stole money than you took. It's just the way it is. And his is totaling right under 250K, he says. Now, if he pays off the restitution, he can come off of parole. He claims, and they show a clip, that this is unacceptable. And him and Jennifer are frustrated because they're trying to plan their wedding and they're upset because his past and his ex is still impacted them. Woe is me. Woo, 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 Sinclair James, whatever the hell you want to call it. Ain't no way he went to prison in California, liberal ass California. Okay, ain't no way they put him in our overpopulated jails. I'm just saying, I'm gonna keep it a buck with y'all. My cousin just got out, and they should have let his ass out. Okay, he had some serious charges, and they let him out. These jails is full. So you telling me that you have to actually do prison time because of domestic violence? Unless in California, especially, unless you shooting the chick, holding her hostage, sexually assaulting her, things like that. Like, I highly, highly, highly doubt that so young with barely any charges, you just got sent to prison for DV. There's so much more that you're not telling us, Mr. Christian. And you have the audacity, Mr. I have a company, to be looking at your soon-to-be wife with wide eyes, hoping that she'll pay the money. And when Jen is like, well, wait a minute, we're going to have to figure a lot of this out, no matter what he did, even my husband caught it. He redirected the conversation back to, yeah, well, I'm going to need this money. Versus doing something, instead of having your future wife carry it, Mr. Future Husband, you could have said, let's just have a Paris themed wedding in America. That'll save you half the money there. Then you don't have to pay it off. You can continue paying off it because you committed the crime. I did not like that scene. So I'm going to let James take over the floor because I have nothing else really nice to say about it.
How much time do we have?
A little bit.
Because, okay, first of all, I agree with everything what Mrs. Best said. You're not getting that amount of time and paying no $250,000 in restitutions for no DV cases. If y'all can bring one to me, I will gladly read the case and see if that was really the case. If he has to pay that much. And absolutely. And that's another, and thank you, Shana, because I was going to say this in a minute. So first off, and then also, if you're in the business that you say, and then mind you, I had dated somebody, was about to marry that fool in that business, that wouldn't take you this amount of time to pay that off. Y'all realize how much they make in a day? And if they do it right, especially, oh yes, miss me with that. This is something else. And Jennifer, like my girl Shayna said, you too old for this shit. You should have stayed with Tim Norman in his hips if you was gonna do all of this. You could have stayed with the dude that stole your Range Rover if you're gonna do all of this. You mean to tell me that as long as this dude has had this YouTube channel, driving your Rolls Royce up and down Rodeo Drive, you mean to tell me that he ain't collected enough money from the YouTube checks to pay this off yet? And that's not ringing in your head? Jennifer, come on. Like, I'm trying to.
Separate from that, being on the show, going to events with her, I'm sure he's come across lots of endorsements,
Right.
lots of
Appearance
opportunities for
fees.
being.
Yes.
Yes, he's had so many opportunities. So I know he did not just flat out say, "Hey, babe, can you pay for this?" But no matter what she said in response to being stressed out, where they're at in terms of what they spent, they had a little phone call with the wedding planners who've been begging for a budget. The first thing the lady said, "We're already at 70,000." So you're already at $70,000, and you just found out that this man needs $250,000. That's insanity to me. And James made the best point that there is. He's trading crypto likely, and here's the thing. Yes, they do make a lot of money and fast, like very, very fast when done right for those who understand it. So if that's what he's doing, why are you rolling around and buying Rolls Royces and getting your braids lined up if you got a restitution to pay?
It doesn't make sense. I don't care what anyone tells me. He could come on your channel right now and we can interview him. It's not going to make sense to me. As someone who studied criminal law, that does not make sense to me. And he has children, so exactly.
Right.
I forgot about that part.
Small children, by the way.
No, I think one is grown. Ain't one grown? He had one
but he also got a small one. And I'm not talking like,
oh yeah, like a year.
He has like a baby, learning to walk and talk and developing motor skills.
Oh, Jennifer, I forgot all about that. Jennifer, oh my gosh.
Baby gonna be confused. Is this my
You could have, you know what, Jennifer? You could have stayed with Eric for this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You could have stayed with Eric and that knot on his head for this. I mean, yeah, he cheated, allegedly, because I can't prove it. Even though she said it. Yeah, he was dismissive, and yeah, the intimacy lacked. And I get, y'all, let me explain something. As someone who withheld affection and intimacy for a long time in a relationship, I get how much that could be a deal breaker. I get that now. I didn't understand that before because, sometimes I ain't in the mood for all that. But I get it now. But Jennifer, you could have stayed with Eric if that was the case and been the true basketball wife of all of this and show people what it was like if you was gonna go through this. You done went through it with Tim Norman in his hips. You done went through it with the man who stole your Range Rover. Now you're going through it with this man driving your Rolls Royce all up and down Rodeo Drive. I am so sick of you, Jennifer. I want you to get off TV now. At this point, you are really ridiculous. Get off TV. Mm-hmm. Him and his not through that dream, but it's better than it. Absolutely. It's better than this. She paying for a man like she's king and more. Alrighty then, Shayna, you speaking today, but I'm just saying that Jennifer, if you was gonna pay for a man, baby, you could have got you one way better than this.
Right,
way better than this.
I was just annoyed with the whole scene, y'all. It irked my soul because the audacity. Like, can you get to the altar first before asking her? And Jen, if you do decide to pay it, you better get that marriage certificate signed first.
Because your prenup better be intact. See, if I was Jennifer, if this really what she want, Jennifer better go see. She lawyered up, so she better go see her lawyer. Make sure that prenup intact to protect that $25 million in assets and cars and shit. She better protect that, and also getting your prenup that you don't need to be in his restitutions at all. That he needs to keep that separately because you can get that in your prenup in court. You actually can get out of child support obligations too in court by having a prenup.
In California, though, she wouldn't have to deal with that because even though you're married here, they have community property, but that's usually here what we have to go to court to prove, and it's usually material. But like his debt, I believe the only thing shared here that's commutative is retirement. So that's a good thing.
Well, I'm just saying, out of the obligation, if they do divorce and he wants to maintain stability of lifestyle, that's what I'm saying. the child support, yeah, they will actually include that he owes child support. So yeah, you need to pay for that because he was living in the house while he was paying for that. So that is one.
They won't do that in California no more. They won't. They won't even do it, not through loopholes or none of that, that's the one good thing about here, especially being married here. You don't have to go through
You
all of
really are
that.
an individual even when you married in
Yeah,
California. That's
even
why I
when
love
you're
California
married,
as
yeah.
well. Yeah, that's why I love, like, that's when when I do marry again, I am marrying in California and I'm getting a license, and my marriage will be confidential because I'm marrying a celebrity. We got to have it confidential. I don't need y'all behind trying to dig up my marriage certificate. Shit real. But
Shayna said, I feel like people find loopholes even when the prenup is ironclad. That is true. And she needs to end this and pick up her dignity. Yeah. Not the dignity.
shout out to Michael Darby.
Lord, not the dignity.
Right.
But
No,
she's a mess. Her and this man
anytime
are
somebody says loopholes in the prenup, I always think of Michael Darby because he sure did get some loopholes in that shit. Ashley didn't get a
of course.
motherfucking thing.
And her dumbass, and it's a shame because her forehead's so big and there's nothing going on there logically. It's like this man is worth money and has been on the earth 3 times as long
Man
as
on hotels and all kind of shit.
think that he would not outsmart the wife that's been sitting at home and ran his restaurant to the ground? No. But moving on back on focus. Jac'eil has the ladies come through. They do feed the homeless with the queer. I can't see y'all. I'm reading notes. Queer aunties, which was the LGBTQ group that gives back to the community. And in the bus riding to the event, Brandy mentions how Evelyn checked her because the ladies start bringing up Cheyenne and the friend and all of that again. And Brandy mentions Evelyn checked Brandy, but she didn't check Cheyenne or bring up why are you friends with this person and all of that, which I got what Brandy was trying to do, but I felt like it came out of nowhere and it did mess up the vibe. So I'll say that real fast and keep it moving. They then discuss how Brandy's mom still views Jason as her son, and there's just love and peace and positivity in the family, even though this man cheated on her daughter 341 times. Listen, my husband did not cheat, and my mama just was looking for reasons to come after him. She do not like that man. I don't know why, but your daughter get cheated on over 300 times and he's still your son. I'd say that in front of the grandbaby and nobody else, or Brandy is lying.
I don't know, because we saw her mama one time on this season. I have a hard time believing that lady just loved this man after cheating on her daughter. But how many times? Either she don't like her daughter and always wanted a son, and that's what she got, or Brandy is lying, because there's no way I would even, if my own mama says she loves the person that cheated on me 341 times.
That's beef.
It's beef, because at the end of the day, you saying you don't love me. Yeah, I chose to stay with him, but I'm trying to ironclad this marriage for 20 years so I can get paid for the rest of my life. I don't know what Brandy's up to, but as I said, yeah, that kind of took me aback as well, because I was like, damn, ain't no way
Craziness.
Yeah,
it doesn't make sense. But she says this basically, but she's just trying to make everybody think everything's good. And then Evelyn chimes in and says, I can never forgive that. It was rude. It was very rude. And Evelyn knew what she was doing. But I second that, Evelyn. Here, because I couldn't either.
I couldn't as well, but let's not act like Evelyn. Let's not
Evelyn,
act
the
like,
one that they allegedly be cheating with. She's one of
and
them.
let's not act, and not only that, but let's not act like Antoine when Basketball Wives. It's all in Shaquille O'Neal's book. Let's not act like it might not have been 341 times, but it was enough.
He was a close.
It was enough. Let's not act like Ocho wasn't cheating, because that was the whole reason you got headbutted. Let's not act like Carl didn't cheat, because that's the whole reason why you ain't with him right now. So let's not do, like, to me, I kind of feel like if you've been in the same situation, no matter how many times it was, that's not for you to say, well, I couldn't like it. That's not for you to judge, because you stayed with them after they did it. Carl was the only one that you left after the fact that you found
Evelyn is someone who will She live in a glass house, but she throwing stones. That's
Right.
just who she is. Now at the event, Evelyn continues on with her foolery, and she's talking shit loudly, y'all, to Brooke about Brandy. And this is where I've been feeling this way. Brooke, you have said that Brandy is not a good friend, even though she's proved to you to be a good friend, because she invited someone to an event once and was not forthright with you about that at work. Okay, I get it. You're upset, but this is still supposed to be a friend of someone who was there for you. Why has Brooke been allowing Evelyn to talk crap about Brandy? For not just at this moment, but in multiple episodes. It's shady. I don't like it. And Brooke, I'm sorry, Evelyn did try to say earlier to you, you know, because of what you've been through, you deserve grace. I feel the exact opposite. The world is not going to stop because of what you go through. There are people, unfortunately, who've lost children. There are people, unfortunately, who've lost parents. There are people who are dealing with grief. And while it's not okay and it sucks that these things happen, and sometimes it makes you question your own faith, it doesn't mean that you have the right to just be acted a fool and not being held accountable. So I don't know. I just don't like how Brooke's moving. Brooke brings up when they go to the club, y'all, after the little event, she brings up the issue between Evelyn and Brandy because she says she just wants them to squash it because there's an elephant in the room. They speak, and essentially, because I'm not going to go over this tit for tat because we've been talking about the same thing now for episodes. Evelyn is essentially just upset that Brandy does not hate Jac'eil. That's what I got from this. That's pretty much what I got from them two speaking. And Brandy has a point. None of what Evelyn is talking to her about is her business. Why are you interjecting in someone's friendship and their relationship about some shit that don't even affect you? Evelyn only cares not because of Brooke, not because of Brooke's daughter. Evelyn only cares about what is going on. So that, in my opinion, one, she can look like she's the good person, and two, because she just wants everybody to hate Jac'eil. This is what Evelyn has done her entire career on reality television. She used to do it with Jennifer in season 1. They get together, Jid and Shani, and whatever girl they decide they don't like, whether the reason was valid or not, they gonna turn every other girl against the girl until she either leaves the show or is not asked back. They're trying to do that with Jac'eil, but it's not working. And I feel like she's frustrated because that vein is coming out. I was also annoyed with Brooke because you finally tell Brandy that you were bothered, and then you get up and leave. And then you say while crying to Jac'eil, I'm just tired talking about it because my daughter comes up. You're the one who brought this up. And why are you holding Brandy accountable but not Evelyn when Evelyn's the one who keeps bringing up the topic to Brandy, which is why she's defending herself? And I don't even care for Brandy like that. But in this one situation, I don't feel like she was wrong. She does apologize to Brooke. Brooke accepts it, but then won't hug her. It's time for Brooke to go. I'm going to give James the floor to comment because I didn't even have the energy to go into that with full detail and to have another live, but the whole show.
Oh no, I don't have anything else to say. You said it all. I agree with everything that you said. I feel like this was master manipulation on Evelyn's part for her to skate over whatever she or lack thereof is not going through. Where the hell is them ugly ass suits at and them damn, onesies and shit that you're trying to put out? Where is that? Because you only mentioned that 1 or 2 episodes, we ain't seen the shit no more. So where is that? So I don't, y'all. I'm trying to be fair with Evelyn because I used to like Evelyn. I did. The first couple seasons I did like Evelyn because I didn't like Royce at all, and I didn't like I didn't like any of the new housewives they brought on. I didn't like Mika. I didn't like I loved Kenya though. Kenya Bell, that's my girl. I wish they would go find Kenya Bell and bring her ass on the show. That was my girl. I loved Kenya. I did. Especially when she beat Susie ass. So yes, and even bring Tasha back. Bring somebody else. Yeah, Shani, bring somebody else back. Bring Tasha back. Bring Kenya Bell back. We may have a show.
I think the message is, I think that Evelyn is better off of this show. Something about being on this show, in my opinion, brings out the worst of her. Brandy does come back in after dealing with and apologizing to Brooke. And she goes to Evelyn and she's like, I don't want to have a problem with you. Like, I like you. I want to get along. And she does start it out in a way that sounds like she wants to make peace. And they end up getting into it. Essentially, Evelyn is mad and walks away when Brandy's like, the lady has a heart. You can't get mad at me for saying that. Like, you're acting like I'm hanging out with her. She had one lunch and invited her to something that was filmed. Now, if she's having lunch with her off camera and inviting her to her actual home, not the Airbnbs we see on this show, then fine. But this was something that she did on camera that has nothing to do with Evelyn. This has zero to do with Evelyn. Mind y'all, Evelyn tries to bring it back like, oh, because of what she said about my daughter. But you were just kikiing and kicking it with Jac'eil last season and the season before that. So now you're suddenly mad about something. Please stop trying to compare your anger about something she said about your daughter that you forgave and was kicking it to her with her about to Brooke's actual situation with her daughter who passed on, who Jac'eil did disrespect. Jac'eil was out of line for that. She was. But Evelyn, what are you doing? What are you doing? And to me, you can't trust Evelyn because she used to be the closest person with Jim. Then a couple of seasons ago, she couldn't stand Jim for talking about her daughter. Another person who Evelyn thought talked about her daughter, who she forgave and is cool with currently. I just don't understand Evelyn, but she ends up walking away, which it looks like Evelyn just walked away because Brandy was like, I'm not going to fight you. And that's why I was like, okay, yeah, Evelyn, you full of it. Because if you was really mad to where you wanted to fight, you would have fought because we know Evelyn. She will climb tables, trees. She will leap through the air. She'll do what she has to do.
Also throw a drink.
Right. But she didn't do none of that. I think she was genuinely surprised.
Well, first of all, Brandy is, and no offense to her body, but Brandy is a big old Amazon. When she held Tammy back from getting to Duffy that one season, like Tammy could not get around Brandy. Brandy needed to be a security guard. Because when I tell you, Brandy had literally holding Tammy back with one arm, got Duffy in the other arm, Tammy couldn't even get through. So I imagine if Brandy actually fought somebody on the show, that person would be in trouble. Because Brandy, like, she could just take you out with just one arm and just, you would fall on your back before you even knew what happened. I'm telling you.
Oh, no, I believe her. Because she said, if I wanted to fight you, I would fight you. So why you doing too much? That's what Evelyn left. She was like, I think Brandy handled Evelyn appropriately. I know a lot of people don't care for Brandy. That's fine. But I do think in this situation, she handled Evelyn appropriately. Evelyn is not minding her business. So I don't know. These people. Do you have any final thoughts before I end it?
I don't have any final thoughts before you end it. That is absolutely it. Lovely episode of Basketball Wives.
It was a better episode, though. I just want them to move on from the same ass issue and whatever the hell you call it, because I'm over it. I'm over it. Y'all don't like Jac'eil, and that's fine. Go film and do something else. If I don't like somebody, I'm not going to go to lunch with James or, go make wines and go to events with James and discuss the person that I don't like. We going to do what we do and laugh.
Absolutely.
Why are you discussing who makes you unhappy? It just doesn't make sense. It's not conducive to your joy. Anywho, I appreciate everybody for watching the video. Please check the links in the description. You will find a link to James's channel. Just click it to take you straight to his channel. Subscribe to his channel or check out videos that he has there, which feature myself sometimes as well. Lots of shows that we do there, such as Housewives of Dubai, Love and Marriage Huntsville, and many, many others to come. We're going to be heading into the Housewives of New Jersey. Yeah. We will be recapping the Housewives of New Jersey next, and then we will have a song review after. So I will see you all there. Thank you, James, for being here, Thug Life, and I'll see y'all next week.
Bye.